Hey portrait photographers, are you looking for a way to speed up your retouching and achieve great results? I just tried out Skylum's Luminar 4 and I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily retouch your portraits.
Here I am where the movie started, facing another photo they've taken. Space street flying through the skies and battles happen everywhere.
Welcome to Josh Mills Photography. I'm Josh. This is where I provide real-world photography and retouching education. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to improve your photography, master your retouching, or learn all kinds of other photography-related things. In this video, I'm going to cover easy portrait retouching with the new Luminar 4 and its portrait AI tools. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm going to start by grabbing an unedited portrait here in Lightroom. As you can see, I've got a raw file, which I've applied no adjustments to other than the Adobe Color Profile. And all you need to do is right-click on that image and select Edit in Luminar 4. This will bring up the dialog for you to choose to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. I know that I have made no adjustments here, but here if you had made adjustments in Lightroom, it would apply those adjustments to the file that you're about to work on in Luminar 4. You can also choose what kind of file you want, what color profile, the bit depth, and the resolution. I'm actually going to change that to 300 real quick. And all you need to do is click Edit, and it will go ahead and open it in Luminar. Once your image opens up in Luminar, you'll notice that it starts off in the Essentials panel. To get to the new portrait tools, all you need to do is come down here to the little face icon, click on it, and it will open up the new portrait tools. I'm going to begin by doing some skin correction by using the new AI Skin Enhancer. If you click on it, it will expand it out. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the image. And we will start by clicking this AI Skin Defects Removal. This will try to automatically detect the defects and blemishes in the skin and correct them. And then we're going to adjust the amount. And let's go ahead and jump up pretty high. I'm going to jump up here in the 75 range and see what we've got going on. Now you can see whenever it is doing its skin enhancement, it's actually not smoothing the skin, it's retaining all of the texture. And let me go ahead and do the before and after here. And you can see how it's fixing some of the blemishes, but also smoothing the skin tones, but retaining all of the texture for you. And I'm going to back that off just a little bit. It's looking a little strong, so let's say 60%. That looks good to me. Now let's zoom out and move on to the next step. The next step I want to do is jump into the Portrait Enhancer. This is going to give us a lot more options to work with. The first thing I want to do is I want to bring up the exposure on the face a little bit. So I'm going to grab the face light, and the face light detects the face and allows us to bring light in on the face. So you see as I slide it across here, the rest of the image is remaining dark, but the face is starting to lighten up. This obviously is way too bright, so I'm going to back this off, and I just want to bring a little brightness in. So let's say that 20 to 25 range maybe. And that looks good to me. So I'm going to do the before and after. And you can see how much of an improvement we've accomplished already with just those two adjustments. So let's go ahead and turn off the before and after and keep going. The next thing I would like to do is adjust the white of the eyes. They're just a little bit dull. I'm going to go ahead and take the eye whitening here and bring it up. And you can see if I take it really far to the right, it looks really alien and you get that glowing eye effect. So we really want to be conservative with how much we use this. I'm probably going to say maybe that 15 to 20 range, and let's see what that looks like. That looks good to me. It's got some nice whitening to it, but it doesn't look overdone. So let's go ahead and move on into the eye enhancer. The eye enhancer is going to increase the detail and make those eyes pop. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in before we do this. And let's grab that eye enhancer, and I'll take it all the way to 100 so you can see how crazy this will get. Now it's going to automatically detect the eyes, and you can see that it's brought all of this extra detail in here and brighten the eyes, but it's brought too much detail. So we're going to go ahead and back that off. And let's try it at 50% and see what that looks like. And that looks pretty nice to me, actually. Now, the other way to see the before and after, we've got the slider bar, where you can slide back and forth. Or we also have the toggle, where you can just toggle it on and off. Let me turn that one off. That looks good to me. Those eyes have a lot of detail and enhancement to it, but it doesn't look over-sharpened or fake to me. All right, the next one down that I'm going to actually use is the dark circle removers. This will subtly remove dark areas under the eyes. So let's go ahead and bump that one in here. And let's take it to 100% and see what it does. It lightens them a little bit. I don't want to take it too extreme, so let's take it back down to half. And we'll toggle that on and off. Looking good to me. Now let's go ahead and zoom back out and see what else we can do here. Alright, so now I'm looking at the lips, which they do look natural, but I want to add a little bit of color to them. So I'm going to come down here and we have the lip tools. The first thing I would like to do is I'm going to add a little bit of saturation to the lips. As you can see, if I take that all the way to 100, it really adds a lot of color to the lips. I'll zoom in so we can see that. And I'll take that back down to 0 so you can see the difference. See how the lips look pale at the moment? So let's go ahead and let's just add a little bit of saturation here. So let's bump it up to maybe 15 or 20. All right, that's nice and subtle. The next thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of red into the lips to give it a little bit more life. Let's bump it all the way up and see what it looks like. Now we've got lipstick. I'm going to go ahead and take that way down. So let's add maybe 20 on that one also and see what that looks like. Nice and subtle. Obviously, we can always look at the before and after. That's looking good to me. And I also noticed that we have this lip darkening, and the lip darkening will allow you to adjust the luminance of the lips. So I just took that to 100 and you can see how dark they got. By decreasing the luminance, you also kind of affect the appearance of saturation. So I'm going to back this off and just darken them a tiny bit. So let's say 5 to 10. And then let's do our before and after. It looks really good to me. All right, let's zoom out and see what we're looking like so far. Okay, well, the next thing that I've found in the panels here is actually under the high key. The high key is going to allow us to make some really dramatic changes to it that are going to enhance the image, in my opinion. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to bump up the amount just a little bit. We don't want to go extreme with this, so I'm going to say between 10 and 15%. I want to actually back off the standard high key because I don't want this to be a high key image since this is a very dark image. So I'm going to say maybe 10 to 15% on that one also. The dynamic high key is going to really affect the shadows and highlights, almost like a dodge and burn. So I'm going to back that one off as well. And then the blacks, what I have found is actually a way to either darken or open up the blacks. If I take it down, it darkens the blacks even more. If I take it up, it really brightens the blacks. So here, let's say maybe in that 60% range. Now, if at any point you want to see what just one of these panels has changed, you can go up here and there is a reset and then there's a toggle on and off. So I'm going to toggle that on and off and you can see what I've done with that high key. I'm really liking that. This is also going to give me the opportunity to show you something else I discovered, which is the masking feature. Here we have the mask, and if you click on brush, you will see that it opens up the mask settings. And the first thing that I want to do is come back over to Edit Mask, and I want to choose Luminosity Mask. Now, what's going to happen here is the luminosity is going to be automatically calculated for you, and it's going to generate a mask based on that. And we'll let that run for just a second, and it has finished its look. So we're going to come over here to the little eye in the mask panel and turn that on. And you can see that it has now created a mask where it is masking out the blacks versus the shadows. And we'll turn that off. And now I want to toggle my high key adjustments on and off. Nice, it's brightened it up, but it's done it very subtly, and it's only done it in the brighter areas without affecting the dark areas of the image. All right, let's take another look at the before and after. Let's go ahead and click out of our high key and click on our before and after. There's before, and there's after. It really is a dramatic change. All right, let's take a closer look at the image. So let's get out of the before and after. And I'm going to come up here and choose the drop down so I can zoom in, but not to 100%. Let's go to 50%. All right, one thing that I would like to do here is I would also like to jump out of the portrait settings and make some other quick adjustments that I would otherwise do when I go back to Lightroom, but I found that I can also do in here. So what I want to do is go back to the Essentials panel, and in the Essentials panel, we have other options to work with. The first thing I would like to do is work with the light because I want to add a little bit of change to the color temperature and tint of this image. I want to warm it up just a touch, so I'm going to bump up the temperature to 4 or 5. And I'm going to take the tint to maybe 8 or 9, bringing that magenta back in. Now, the next thing that we can do is we can actually sharpen the image by going in the detail enhancer. So I'm going to turn off the before and after. Click down on the detail enhancer. And the very cool thing about the detail enhancer is it allows us to enhance the small details, medium details, large details, and also sharpen the image overall. So I'm going to go ahead and enhance some of the smaller details like the hair and the whiskers. So we'll give those just a little bump. Let's try 10. And that looks nice. Let's give it a bump to the medium details and see what happens. So let's go up maybe 7 or 8. Looking good. And maybe we'll bump up the large details. Let's see what happens if I go really strong on it. Definitely not. We're going to go ahead and just cancel out the larger details. And then let's apply some sharpening. Let's see what 100% looks like sharpened. I'm not seeing too much here, but let's go ahead and come into 100% and see what we have. Wow, that is really sharp. All right, so we need to back this way off. Let's try 25%. That looks good. And we'll zoom out and we will toggle our on and off. All right, that looks great. All right, so that is pretty much quickly retouching an image with Luminar 4 in the new portrait tools. One thing that is also really cool here is once you have created these settings, if you have a group of images that also you want to apply the same settings to, you can save your settings by clicking on Save New Look. So here, let's create a new look, and I'm just going to call this Test, for lack of a better name, and I'm going to click Save. I will now have this down in the User Look panel, and I can apply it quickly without having to go through and make all of those adjustments again each time. So now that I'm happy with my changes here, all I need to do is come right up here and click on Apply. It will apply the settings, save them, and then it will close Luminar, and I will have Lightroom sitting there with my newly adjusted image. All right, as you can see, it's saved back to Lightroom. Lightroom is open, and that is our adjusted image from Luminar 4. So you can see this is the TIFF file that I just created and edited. Here's the original RAW. If I toggle back and forth between them, you can see the difference here. Now, since we created the look there in Luminar 4, I can go through these other headshots that I have RAW images for, and I can do the same exact edits very quickly. Actually, let's go ahead and grab this one real quick. Right click, edit in, Luminar 4. All right, now that it's open in Luminar, you'll see that no adjustments have been applied, But you will notice that there is this Luminar looks down below with our user settings. If you do not see the Luminar looks across the bottom of your window, you'll see looks up here at the top of the window, and you can just click on it and it will open up the looks panel. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that test look that I created in the last image. And it's going to automatically apply all of the settings that we applied to that previous image and saved as a look. And you can see when I do the before and after, that was a really quick adjustment for me. Now there's one thing I'm noticing as I slide this back and forth is there are a couple of beauty marks right there on the temple that the Skin Enhancement has removed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click out of the before and after. I'm going to come back over here to the Portraits panel, click on the Skin Enhancer, and I'm going to click on Edit Mask and choose Brush. Now what I would like to do is choose Erase. I'm going to make sure that my opacity is at 100%. And then I'm going to go ahead and come right over here to where those beauty marks were. And I can actually toggle this on and off with the little eye up here to see exactly where they are. And I'm going to erase the effect where they are. So I've brought that one back. And let's see where the others are. There's one right here, so I'm going to bring that one back. All right, so now I've got that enhancement without losing those beauty marks. And that's just by adjusting the mask by clicking on Edit Mask, coming up here and choosing Erase, and then erasing the mask over those two areas. We will go ahead and choose Apply, and it will apply the changes for us and take us back into Lightroom. All right, we're back in Lightroom, and as you can see, it has saved those changes to the file for us. I can come down here. This is our TIFF, and here is our original raw image. I can toggle back and forth between them, and you can see the changes. And let's take a closer look at some of these things. I'm going to go ahead and zoom into 100% here and see what we've got going on. Skin looks really nice. It did miss a few things, but nothing that I can't fix quickly here with the spot brush. So I'm going to click on that real quick. And I see that it left an eyelash here on his cheek, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And there's some spots here on the lip. I'll get rid of those. And we'll just click some of these smaller areas that I feel should not be in here. And maybe get rid of the hair. All right, that looks good to me. We've got a nicely edited image. Took us only a matter of moments using Luminar 4. Thanks for checking out my tutorial on Luminar 4 and editing portraits. If you found this useful, go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe below. I would love to hear your comments or any questions you have, so go ahead and leave a comment or question down below for me, and I will get back to you quickly. Y'all have a great day, guys.